Growing up, you see bodies everywhere. On television, in magazines, you see your friends changing, and you naturally start to look at your own body. You wonder how you fit into all of this. I remember looking in the mirror during my teenage years. My body was doing its own thing, charting its own course. My breasts started to develop, but not quite like the pictures I had seen. Not quite like the girls in the changing rooms at school. They seemed to have a shape all their own, a unique blueprint. This was the very first whisper of a long journey ahead of me. This initial observation wasn't a moment of panic. It was more a quiet curiosity, a gentle nudge. Why did mine look a bit different? They appeared somewhat pointy, maybe a little further apart than others. The base of them seemed a bit narrower than I expected. I didn't have a name for it then. I just knew they didn't match the perfectly round, full images often presented as the norm. It was a subtle feeling, a sense that my body was writing its own story, in its own language. A language I was yet to fully understand or appreciate in its entirety. It took some time, some quiet searching, some growing up, to finally put a name to this difference. The term tuberous breasts eventually found its way to me. Learning this name was a strange mix of emotions. There was a sense of relief, knowing this was a recognized variation. It meant I wasn't alone. It wasn't just me being weird, but there was also a new layer of questioning. What did this mean for me? How would I navigate a world that often celebrated a very specific type of beauty? This label was both an answer and the beginning of new questions. This discovery marked a significant point in my life. It was the start of really looking at my body, not just as something that carried me around, but as something unique, with its own characteristics. It forced me to confront ideas about beauty. It pushed me to question what normal even means. It was clear this would be more than just a physical trait. It would be a catalyst for a much deeper exploration of self-acceptance. A journey towards understanding that different doesn't mean flawed. It simply means different, and that difference could hold its own unique power and beauty. So what exactly are tuberous breasts? Let's break it down simply. Imagine a flower that grows in a slightly different shape. Tuberous breasts, sometimes called tubular breasts, are just a variation in how breast tissue develops. It's not an illness. It's not something caused by anything you did or didn't do. They might appear more elongated or cone-shaped rather than round. The base of the breast, where it meets the chest, might be narrower. Sometimes the breasts can be spaced further apart. The areola, the darker skin around the nipple, might also appear larger. It's really important to understand that this is about the natural development of breast tissue. During puberty, sometimes the tissue doesn't spread out in the typical fan-like shape. Instead, it might grow more forward, in a more tube-like way. This can result in less fullness, particularly in the lower part of the breast. It's a variation, like having curly hair or straight hair, or being tall or short. It's simply one of the many ways human bodies can be. It is not a sign of anything being wrong with your health. It is purely a difference in form. This variation isn't always talked about openly. You don't often see tuberous breasts celebrated in mainstream media. This lack of visibility can make anyone with them feel isolated. They might feel like they are the only ones. But you're not alone. Many people have tuberous breasts to varying degrees. Some might be very subtle, others more noticeable. The silence around them doesn't mean they don't exist. It just means we need to talk more about all body types. We need to expand our definition of what is considered beautiful and normal in our society. Remember, every single body on this planet is unique. No two breasts are exactly alike, even on the same person. Tuberous breasts are just one example of this incredible human diversity. They are not imperfect or abnormal, they are simply a different shape. Understanding this is the first step. It's about acknowledging the reality of anatomical variation without judgment. It's about seeing your body as it is, a natural form that is part of the vast spectrum of human bodies. This understanding can be incredibly empowering for anyone feeling unsure. Discovering I had tuberous breasts brought a wave of complex emotions. There was definitely insecurity. I felt self-conscious, especially during those vulnerable teenage years. I would constantly compare my chest to images in magazines or to my friends. This comparison game is a thief of joy, as they say, and it truly was. I'd wonder why mine couldn't just look like everyone else's. This feeling of being different in a way that wasn't celebrated was heavy. It chipped away at my confidence, making me question my attractiveness and my body's worthiness. Beyond the emotional turmoil, there were practical challenges too. Finding bras that fit properly was a constant struggle. Most standard bras are designed for a rounder shape, so they would either gap strangely or not offer the right support. This made me feel even more aware of the difference. Activities like swimming or wearing certain tops could also trigger anxiety. I worried about what others might think or if they would notice. This constant vigilance about my appearance was exhausting. It felt like I was always trying to hide a part of myself, to make it less visible to the world. The pressure from society and the media didn't help. We are constantly bombarded with images of so-called perfect bodies. These images are often digitally altered and unrealistic. But when you're young and trying to figure out your place, it's hard not to internalize these standards. I felt like my body didn't measure up. This constant messaging reinforced the idea that different was undesirable. It made the journey towards self-acceptance much harder than it needed to be. It created an internal battle between wanting to love myself and feeling like I didn't meet the external criteria for beauty. There were times I wished I could just change this part of my body. I dreamed of fitting in, of not having this particular difference to deal with. The thought of surgery even crossed my mind, as it does for many who feel this way. It's a completely understandable desire when you feel so out of sync with what is presented as ideal. This internal struggle was real. It was a quiet battle fought inside, a longing to feel normal and comfortable in my own skin. It was a period of significant emotional work and learning that I had to undertake. My journey towards self-acceptance wasn't an overnight transformation. It was a gradual unfolding. It involved a lot of unlearning harmful beauty standards. It involved actively seeking out different perspectives. I started to consciously curate my social media feeds. I unfollowed accounts that made me feel bad about myself. I filled my view with images and voices that celebrated diversity in all its forms. Seeing other people embrace their unique bodies, including those with tuberous breasts or other differences, was incredibly powerful. It showed me I wasn't alone and that beauty truly comes in many shapes. If you're feeling uncomfortable about your body, please be kind to yourself. This is so important. Your body is your ally, not your enemy. It works so hard for you every single day. Try to challenge those negative thoughts when they creep in. Ask yourself, would I say this to a friend? Probably not, so why say it to yourself? Focus on what your body allows you to do, the way it carries you through life, the experiences it enables. This shift in perspective can be a game changer. It helps you appreciate your body for its function, not just its form. Seek out communities and people who lift you up. Talk to trusted friends or family. Sometimes just voicing your feelings can lessen their power. There are amazing online groups and forums where people share their experiences with body image. Knowing you're not alone is incredibly validating. Remember, your worth is not tied to your appearance. You are so much more than your body shape. You are your thoughts, your kindness, your talents, your dreams. These are the things that truly define you. These are the qualities that make you uniquely wonderful. Embracing your unique body, tuberous breasts and all, is an act of rebellion. It's a rebellion against narrow beauty standards. It's a declaration of self-love. Your body is your home. It deserves your respect and care. Love yourself fiercely exactly as you are. This journey of self-love is ongoing. There will be good days and some less good days. But every step towards acceptance is a victory. You are beautiful. You are enough. You are worthy of feeling confident and happy in your own skin, always.